Hey everybody, Mark Agnesi here for Gibson TV. Today, I'm about 90 minutes outside of Chicago in the town of Rockford, Illinois, on my way to see my friend, guitarist Rick Nielsen. Now, no conversation about guitar collecting can be had without Rick's name coming up. He's basically the godfather of guitar hoarding. And for the last 50 years almost, as guitarist for Cheap Trick, he has seen, played, and pretty much owned them all. What you're about to see may shock you. This is The Collection with Rick Nielsen.
Hey, Mark.
Uncle Rick.
Welcome. Come on in. Brought you a Cheap Trick shirt. You need a new one.
I do need
Come
a
on
new
in.
one. Thanks for having me.
Good to be had. With my buddies, we were talking about having a group together with Sparks, Ron and Russell. I've been pals with them for a long time. Yeah, there's Townsend asking me, hey, Rick, how'd you get that song on Live at Budokan? I said, you did Live at Leeds. What are you asking me for? Are you crazy?
Well, we're finally here. I mean, we've been talking about this for I feel like 18 months. We've been trying to set this up.
It's been a while.
You're a busy guy.
So are you.
And there's that global pandemic thing. But
Oh,
we're
that
here
thing.
now.
Yeah, I got my mask in my pocket in case you start spitting at me.
Yeah, wait till later.
Okay.
We got to talk about a lot of stuff here, but for starters, just where does guitar start for you? When did you go, I gotta do this?
Well, I started out as a drummer. I took lessons from a few lessons from Frank Arsenault, who was the Ludwig drum champion. I thought the drums were my future. My parents were opera singers, and they also sang with Billy Graham. And it wasn't my music. It was not anything I liked. I knew music, but I didn't know. I liked the idea of rhythm. Instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, it's 1 E-anda, 2 E-anda, 3 E-anda, 4 E-anda. I just gave up on the drums and started teaching myself how to play guitar. And there you go. And that's where it started.
You remember your first guitar?
I remember my first guitar was something my mother had. It was a Goya. I still have it. It's a Goya nylon string, made in Sweden. But my very first electric was a Gretsch. It was a single pickup and flat wound strings. And so I got rid of that. But my second guitar was a 1955 Gibson Les Paul Gold Top, which I still have to this day. I bought it here in Rockford for $70.
Did you know you wanted a Les Paul, or did that guitar just pop up, or?
I saw these bands on TV. You know, it was different shows that were on, and then finally when it came up to the Beatles, that's when it was like I wanted to really pursue being in a band. But no, I didn't know. I didn't even know that Les Paul was a solid body, a hollow body, and this is in '65. So when I got to buy one, I said, "Boy, this thing's heavy," and it still is heavy, but it's cool. And Mark, before you get in there, I think you need to be a little more formal here.
Was there a dress code?
Dress code. Just throw off that rag and put on this new rag. There. How do you look? Oh.
Feels good.
Fabulous.
Feels good.
Fabulous.
Let's look at some. Oh God.
Yeah, this is what you start with one, and then
it escalates.
Yeah. See, there's all the Skylarks that I told you about. And,
the organization
it's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
The problem I have is I've got too many. Well, that's not a problem, but I have too many that sometimes I have to get stuff that I take on the road. So I switch cases, and then before you know it, it gets kind of. This is some of the stuff, and here I got the.
Oh, rad!
Oh, look, there's more.
Oh,
come on in here. And over there were like Hamers, and then there's a row of Fenders, and there's a row. Then most of the rest of the stuff is Gibson. I have more. I have about 166 Gibsons.
Looking around, do you care about acoustic guitars?
Just speaking of that, these are Taylors. There's green, blue, and green. There's our 4 Rick Nielsen models. Then I've got some Martins here, and there's an 1854 Martin.
Coffin case?
Yeah, in the coffin case. Les Paul Jumbo.
But for the most part, we're talking 90%.
90% are electrics. Yeah.
Is electric guitars.
Yeah, I actually have, this is a rare Gibson too. This is the John Lennon painted, the Mystery Tour.
Can I look at this?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah.
How about that?
Pretty cool. I mean, that's you.
That's
For an
cool.
acoustic, that's pretty you right
Yeah.
there. You move, is that pickup,
Well, that works.
was that moved by you, or is that how that model shipped?
That's how it came. And these blue tags all mean something. Like I said, these are like Flying V's, Moderns, Firebirds, 335s, Lucille, Elvis Presley, John Lennon. What else we got? Then we start a bunch of Les Paul stuff over here. This row is all Fender.
Duosonics,
Yeah,
into the tellies.
tweed cases. And the Fenders continue around here, and then those are Gretsch and off-brand, and then all of these are Gibsons for the most part. Wow. Les Pauls and stuff, and then there's more. But yeah, this is the good stuff. A lot of SGs in here, Les Pauls themselves, Joe Perry, John Lennon, just all kinds of stuff.
It's extensive. Well, should we go out and start cracking some cases?
I think we should. There's more to see. And it looks, this is full, but we have other stuff other places. Because you're the guitar man.
Let's go do it. All right. Well, I think this is a good place to start.
It is a good
cases. Anything before we open this?
1955, bought it in 65 for $65. I misquoted before. I said 70, but it's $65. I paid for this.
Oh yeah.
For 55. Cool top.
So this was like your first
First Les Paul.
Les Paul.
First kind of real good guitar.
Now you said you got it for $65.
Yeah.
Where did you find it?
Yeah, in Rockford, Illinois, at the A bookstore. It was a used book place.
Bookstore?
Yeah, used bookstore. For sale there, with the case. The case didn't have any stickers on it. Even stenciled my name on there.
Yeah.
Good thinking, huh?
Yeah.
Back then, if you see some of the cases from back in the day, people did all kinds of lettering or.
What? I mean, back then it was just a used guitar. I see? It looks like it had a headstock repair at some point.
Yeah, I gave it to the guitar player in Fuse one time. He played Les Paul Standard too. I mean the Sunburst, which was mine, and I said that was fine. And then I let him play it one time. He dropped it and cracked the head on it. So he's not in the band anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is wonderful. It still is wonderful. It's the smaller frets on it too. And this is original. See, I beat it up with my ring too.
I mean, are you a conditioned person? Does it like mint guitars or beat guitars, or does it matter?
I'm afraid to play that mint stuff.
Really? I mean, you have some.
Oh yeah,
really clean stuff,
I don't turn them down. Put it that way.
But it's not imperative that the guitar is mint and issue free.
Like I said, I always liked the stuff that was cheaper to buy, and especially if it was kind of beat up. Was always, if you took it in on trade, you couldn't give the guy, whatever price you get, $65, and they were happy to sell it at that. How much were they? And $219 or something like that.
Yeah.
New, this is 10 years old. Come on, I can't expect to be paying that for it. This is great stuff.
No, that was a good one to start.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're known as a guitar collector, but you really seem to be just a collector in general. I know you have ticket stubs for every concert you ever went to as a kid. You've got albums, you've got guitars, downstairs here is just like, have you just been a collector your whole entire life?
Yeah, well, my grandmother got me hooked on, I started collecting coins and stamps. Then I moved on to baseball cards because I liked the Cubs and I liked Milwaukee and I liked the White Sox. Living near Chicago, and then the music bug got me.
Now, I've worked in vintage guitars
Oh, really?
for a while, and it seems like back then, nobody really had more than one guitar. Like if they wanted a new guitar, they traded in the guitar
That's exactly
that they
what they
had
did.
and got a new one. What made you, because you were really one of the first guys to say, no, like I want a bunch of guitars.
Yeah,
like
well-
when did that start?
Well, I started out, it's like any collector of anything. I started out with one, and then and I never bought new guitars. They were too expensive, and I like kind of the mojo of they'd been kind of worked in. You didn't have to work it in yourself, and it's like I said, but cheaper. I just really loved the craftsmanship, and the stuff the newer stuff I just wasn't keen on. I liked, the solid body stuff, the Les Paul. And then I see Keith Richards got a different Les Paul than I had. He had like this. I didn't know what it was. It had an arm on it, and God, maybe I could see if I can find one of those.
You talked about Keith and seeing Keith with the burst. That was on Sullivan, right?
Uh-huh.
Do you remember the first time you got your hands on one and got to play a Sunburst Les Paul?
Yeah, they were heavier than the Gold Top, actually. Well, some were. And one of the early ones that I got, this is 1968, I traded an SG and $25 to buy a Sunburst Les Paul number 91864, which later I sold to Jeff Beck. So yeah, they were, and plus the detail on the Sunburst was way more than the Gold Top. The Gold Top was really pretty plain.
How many bursts do you think you've owned over?
15.
15 total?
15 of the real stuff.
How many do you still have?
I have 5.
5 in your collection now? And you still kind of go after...
Oh yeah, I got the one that
You got Geddes, right?
I got the one from Geddy. Yeah,
It was in Geddy's book.
I was in pursuit of that one around the same time that I bought the one that was replicated by Gibson. I got it in Canada. If I were looking for it, I knew about it, so I pursued it.
We got another Brown case here.
Another Lifton 5 latch.
Starting to get into the real good stuff.
It's all good,
It's all good stuff.
except for the stuff that's not good. Oh, this is the guitar I got.
is the
The
Geddy.
Geddy Lee last owned.
This was Geddes.
Yeah.
So this
I
is
think he
what
plays bass, doesn't he?
I've heard. This is a 59, I take it?
Yep. 591160, I think it is. And it had this covers on.
Yeah, I remember seeing the pictures of it with the covers.
Yeah,
What inspired you to pull the covers?
I knew there were double cream coils underneath. And actually, Joe Bonamassa was playing here in town. And I'm friends with Mike Hickey, his guitar guy.
Yeah.
And I had to talk him into it to take the covers off. He took them off at my house.
Now, how did you know it was double whites under there? Is this just
Yeah. I
tribal
know.
knowledge?
Yeah. Yeah. And you could see, if you look real close, you could see stuff under there. So it was the first time that the covers had been taken off. And I had the covers obviously upstairs, but it's like, I just like it. From the first time I saw a zebra or a double cream, with Jeff Beck was the first guy that I saw, and I thought they were 2 Stratocaster pickups.
Yeah.
When I first saw it, because there was no information about what was on there. Actually, I owned an Epiphone bass, and with the covers off, it was like the T-Bird years,
Yeah.
and it has a zebra in it. I even have the picture of it, and I've never seen anything written about that, and I didn't really know that it was there. So for some reason, it had the cover off it, and there it was.
Now, for a burst collector and a guitar collector, I mean, to have an unmolested set of PAFs and to take the covers off is almost sacrilege, but
don't
for you,
care.
you just don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my guitar, not
Yeah.
somebody else. You can put them back on. I like to show them off.
Yeah.
I liked it with Jeff Beck in the 60s, and I still like it today.
Yeah.
And don't they look sweet?
Yeah, that's killer.
And plus, they sound great, too.
Have you taken this one out since you've gotten it?
Yep, I have.
This one's been out on the road?
Yep, I did the first show with TNT. And I played it with Blackberry Smoke, too.
Very cool.
Oh, this is a 60.
That's red.
Look at that one.
And it's got a great top on it, too.
We didn't tune any of these just for you. Once again, cream, double cream. I actually have a couple zebra spare.
What? Okay, so let's talk about double creams and zebras for a second. Obviously, there's certain serial number ranges where you're pretty much know you're going to see double whites in there. Where do you find the zebras?
Well, I found one of the zebras I found on a Switchmaster that wasn't working, so I took it apart, or I had it taken apart, and looked at it. Whoa, it wasn't working, so I was like, I don't mind taking it out. And then I had a Les Paul Custom. I could never play those necks because they were flat and they ebony. So there were 3 in there. 2 cream and 1 zebra.
Wow.
Yeah, and back then it's like nobody knew what they were actually. I'd heard because they ran out of black plastic. That's why they even made them in cream. That's what I heard.
And if they knew anybody who was going to take the covers off of them, they probably would have done, and fight about it on the internet, they probably would have done something else. But tell me a little bit about PAFs. What's your take on PAFs? What makes those pickups?
A good one is great.
What is it about the sound that you get out of that pickup?
They have the sound of the guys that I liked. The guys that were really good, you know, Paul Kossoff and, you know, Jeff Beck. Those are the guys that I kind of grew up with. I went to England in 1968 for the first time. I saw all these guys. That's why, one of the reasons why I got Sound City amps. One, they were cheaper. I could buy 4 stacks of Sound Cities for what I would have had to pay for 2 stacks of Marshalls. Yeah. And I'd seen Dave Edmunds playing at the Marquee Club with Love Sculpture as a band. And right when we were there in '68, Love Sculpture, Saber Dance was #1. It was the first song I heard when I went to the first hotel I stayed at, the Inverness Court Hotel, Queensway in Bayswater. We had to put shillings in to have heat in the room. And we kept our acid warm. I mean, what did...
Yeah, certainly there was none of that going on at the time. Oh, yeah.
Yep, this is the one that...
That's when your collector's choice was based on, right?
Yep, I got it. In Canada. And
this is another one that came from Canada.
Yep.
Great top.
Yep, Ed McDonald, Tundra. That's where I got it from. We went back and forth. He was one of the few dealers in Canada that I knew. He always had pretty good stuff, too. He still does. Here, look at the grain. If you get it the right angle.
That is a big top.
It's really nice.
And just totally lemon. Have you ever had any of the plastic off? Has it got good tan lines under there, under the rings and stuff?
Yeah, it could be a little reddish under there. This one, it looked like it sat out in the sun in the window of some store. 90655.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite one? Or they all have their own little...
They all have their own
thing about it?
I mean, these together, they're, close in number, but they're, completely different.
No.
But they're both from Canada, and they're both with me.
No.
And, no, with you now.
That's good stuff. When you started collecting, what were you going after in particular? Or were you just learning as you went?
Learning as I went. Now I don't think I know anything past 1964 or 65. So I'm pretty sheltered in that way. But there were stuff that you didn't see that you'd read about or saw a picture of. And it's like, where do I find one of those? Or I didn't really realize that there were that many Les Pauls around. It's like one, I didn't have the money to get any more than I did. But and then an Explorer, oh man, that makes cool. You never saw them. Flying V, what? So there's all this stuff. Like I said, I was more keen on the hollow or solid bodies things than the 335s and 125s. I've had them all. Yeah. I'll show you a list of the stuff that I got rid of.
All right. Well, I don't want to bore the viewers with all these Sunburst Les Pauls, but
it doesn't bore me, and I've been around this stuff. I like it.
You still like them? All right. Maybe we'll do one more.
Okay.
One more burst here.
5 latch.
Oh, yikes.
This one looks pretty.
Look at that top.
Take it out.
This another 9?
Yeah.
98012. My God.
It's kind of heavy too.
Where did that come from?
Nashville.
This was in Nashville?
Yep.
Shit. You don't see them like that very often.
No, it's got some of the best grain of any one I've ever seen or had.
Yeah, that's good, man. Where did you said Nashville?
Have you ever heard of George Gruen?
Heard of him? Yeah. Sold a few guitars. How long?
Hey, when it was in tune when I bought it.
How long have you had this one?
About 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a more recent one.
Yeah.
What was it about this one? When you
Look at it.
When you saw that, you're like,
I said,
yeah, yeah, please.
I mean, I like beat up ones, but this is just the grain was so nice on it. It reminds me of the Les Paul that I sold to Jeff Beck. It had beautiful grain, and a couple of things that I got rid of, which I sent some serial numbers of some stuff. It was like, why did I get rid of that? It was better looking than the one I got here, but I can't remember some of the stories. I remember most of the stuff, but look at that.
Yeah, that's the good stuff right there.
Yeah. It's better grain than either of our faces do.
Damn straight.
Love it. Here. Take it home with you.
I'll just take this one. Big neck too, that's nice. Killer. We should see one new one.
Yeah, one new one. I got this from Elliot at Rumble Seat. And if you notice the case is like
Case is aged.
when I had my Rick Nielsen model replica, I had to make the cases. I said, beat the hell out of them. Because I said, when you get a new guitar, a new Les Paul, or all this fancy stuff, the cases look too new or too new. So I said, take these cases and beat them up. And so they did that for about 100 of the ones for me. And it's not perfect, but it's close. But this guitar, Elliot said it was his favorite.
Oh, that's the one.
It's the one-piece top.
I remember seeing this at Elliot's
I
place.
saw it on Instagram, and I instantly Instagram called him and said, "I'd like that."
So I believe Matt Kaler from our product development team spotted this, and
There's a letter inside here.
Elliot said he was never going to. He said this was his go-to guitar.
Yeah, he's never gonna sell it. I got it from him. Here. See if.
Yep, signed by Matt Kaler. There you go. That's a cool guitar. This is for the NAMM show, I think.
Yeah, I don't know.
2019. One-piece top Les Paul. And the aging is just killer on this.
You get the right angle on that too. It's the grain, a one piece with some of the coolest grain ever.
And it's light. All right, well, we've had some fun with Les Pauls.
I like that stuff.
Well, maybe we should see some stuff in some other shapes too. Spread the fun around. Tell me a little bit about Korina guitars and what
Smells good.
What
Tastes
Korina
good.
does. I know, it sounds good too.
Yeah.
What is it about the Korina stuff that makes it so special?
I just like how it looks. I mean, it looks beat up when it's new. It looks like it's a real tool. It's a real piece of my profession. You know, some of these things look a little too nice to me. It's like, what am I touching it for? I'm gonna, wail on it and hit big chords on it and make it scream. But they just look cool. They look like a future Model T. So they had the old and the new mixed together, especially when they came out like in '58. And that was the first Korina I knew about. It was 57, 58, around that era. And then I have a whole bunch of Skylarks too.
Now you have Korina Explorer and Korina V. Which was the first that you got your hands on? What was the first one you bought?
I had a Korina Flying V, and I thought that was so cool. They're awkward to hold and play. I mean, if you saw Dave Davies playing one, he put his arm through it like that, and if they don't sit well on your lap, even though they have that little rubber piece on the bottom, they weren't the common stuff. They weren't the everyday things. They weren't the Les Paul or the Stratocaster. They had a look that nobody had them. I mean, you add up the Explorers and the Flying V's of 58s, there's 120, 125 total of all that stuff. So mix that around for everybody that likes guitars around the world. It means not many were around.
Now, I mean, speaking of Korina Flying V's, One of my favorite photos of all time is a picture of you backstage with Andy Warhol, and Andy Warhol has your Carina Flying V,
And he's playing
and he's
holding
or attempting to. Tell me a little bit about how the hell that whole thing happened that night.
Susan Blond, who was the head of Epic Publicity, brought Andy Warhol to our show at the bottom line. And he stayed for the set, and afterwards we get a picture taken. And here he's kind of the Midwest guy, and we're kind of the Midwest guys. And we weren't the same as every other. We had a work ethic, and that was it. And he just got a kick out of us. And I said, hey, "Hi, Andy." I knew who he was, but he didn't know me from a hole in the ground. But I said, "Here," because he liked the weird stuff, some of the weird stuff we had. Original Flying V back then. It's like, "Here, try this." You could see him smile too. It's kind of funny, him smiling for that. And then he offered me to come over to the studio, so I went there the next day and saw all this Marilyn Monroe and rack after rack of his different prints. He had them. He had like a machine over there doing all this stuff, and it was fascinating to me.
We have this wedge-shaped brown case in front of us.
That's weird, isn't it? Plus, it's got all kinds of writing on it.
These are my favorites. I'm excited to see this.
Nice pink inside.
Oh man. 58?
58.
This is the one in the Warhol picture.
I believe so, yeah. I've had a few of them, so I'm pretty sure.
Let me see this.
Let's say it is.
Oh, with the Polaroid in there.
Really?
So when would this have been taken? When you got it, or?
I don't know, because I haven't had a Polaroid camera in years, so I didn't even know it was in here.
And Grover Imperials.
Grover Imperials, those are sweet looking.
Did you do that?
I did not do that. That was on there when I got it.
Wow. Now, what condition was this in?
It was exactly like that. I haven't touched it.
But this has been out. This has seen.
This has seen the war.
Yeah.
Been on the road. It's all the pick guard cracked and broken in the right spots. It's like,
yeah,
that's the stuff.
Was this the first? So this is the first Carina?
No, not the first Carina I ever had.
Really? Do you remember where this one came from?
It came from down in Oklahoma. Larry Briggs.
Briggs, kind of. What year would that have been, do you think?
80, 82, something like that.
And what were these fetching in 82?
1,700.
Oh, God.
2,000, something like that.
Really?
Yeah, well.
It was still all the money back then, but like.
Yeah, but it was like, they were so rare. It's like, it's like if you see it, get it. It's like, I never hassled or bargained on a price, on something that was a fair price and a rare price.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a good idea. Thank you, Gibson, for making these things.
There's something just so beautiful about the symmetry and how everything, even that you have the chevron tailpiece, everything just moves forward right up to the point on that headstock. I just think it's the most beautiful design.
And the big plastic Gibson
on the headstock.
Oh. And its rust ride cover. It's all right. And I can't believe that they couldn't sell these things, or they couldn't sell many of them,
It was pretty revolutionary at the time. They really should have had Imperials. It looks great with the Imperials on there.
This one, Carina, but has been painted red.
Yeah,
Cardinal red.
No joke.
And it did have a little tiny Bigsby down there at the bottom, and supposedly it came from you know who.
Yeah. So, Imperials again.
Oh yeah.
Was that you this time, or did you found two Carina V's that both had Imperials on it?
Yeah.
So this one's a 59.
Yeah.
Which is actually even rarer than the 58s, because I think there's only 19 that shipped in.
They were so rare that's whatever.
Refin didn't bug you.
Are you kidding me? I have a picture of another one where the headstock is red also, from that era, from 59 or 60. It's a band that I don't even know who they are, but I had seen that, and then this, although I've never had the Bigsby on it because I have it in another spot, But you can see the dowel rod.
Yeah, filled in the snake bite.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, I mean, since it's already refinished, have you ever thought about
No.
making a checkerboard?
Sure, I might. Maybe I'll do it.
Hey, it's already refinned. Might as well be checkerboard. That's awesome. You notice any differences between 58s and 59s, or is it just pretty much when they ship?
They're so rare that like I said, I don't really mind the radius or the circumference or the V shape. It's like they're just cool. So it's like if you can't play this, then you're in trouble anyhow. So yeah. I would take it no matter what. If it had a baseball bat for a neck on it.
That's killer.
I think they're light though too.
When I think of the Explorer, you immediately come to mind as the guy.
I brought it back
for the Explorer. What is your infatuation with that shape in particular, and is that probably your favorite guitar?
It was my favorite shape. It was kind of like I had a Flying V, but this Explorer, where it's like unheard of. You could never see him at all, and I just like that shape so much. And then I'm a quirky guy, and it has a personality like I have a personality. Maybe not for everybody. I can make anybody sick. But it was just cool, and they made so few of them. It was like so rare. It was rare to find it. So,
Rick, we got a brown case and a new shape. A shape that we've actually never seen on this show before in all the episodes.
Really?
That we've done. We've seen some Carina V's before. We've never had a Carina Explorer.
Well, let's have that one and maybe have some more.
I think we're going to see our first, second, and third Carina Explorers. Original latches?
Original latches?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oops.
Now, this one here, this is the first one that you...
First one I got from George Gruen.
From George Gruen for $4,000.
Yeah,
right?
That's what he was asking for. $4,000. I have the original case.
Oh, man. That's nice, too.
I think this is the very first Explorer, too. I think this is 81008.
Wow. Carina normally doesn't stay this clean. They check really deep and hard, and they kind of peel.
Yeah, this is 1976 when I bought this.
And I'm wondering, because I want to check as we go through if hole placements changed as they made these, because there were so few. I bet there might be.
I think they put them in by hand,
This is only the second one that I've ever had a chance to play. But I guess
they're sweet.
I'll have a few more under the belt by the time we're done. This also looks like it had a Bigsby or potentially a Maestro or some other kind of tremolo.
This is how I got it from George.
Wow.
I'm giving him a free advertisement.
Totally. Of course, all this stuff is gone now.
Oh, that's right. Hey, George, I'll buy it again if it's the same price if you got it.
I'll double it. Oh, man. And that case, that's the original case.
Original case, yeah. And
somehow even rarer
than
the guitars are.
And, it needs repairing. So that, once again, I don't care about repairing stuff that needs fixing. Here was the original bridge stop taste. It's all bad. And here's some extra junk in there. And I have all the extra. Check this out.
The original guard?
And no, this is an extra guard that I got. I used to go shopping at the old music stores. And if they had parts, they gave, it's like...
you found a spare 58 Explorer pick guard? You know how much that guard is probably worth?
I don't know. I never tried to sell it.
What's also insane is there's an Explorer somewhere that doesn't have a guard on it. Because, that is cool.
Yeah.
And so is this. My God.
They're so rare, and they're so cool. Because, like I said, that's my personality wrapped up in a piece of wood. 58. There's a little screw on the back.
Yeah, I noticed
I don't know what that was for. It's, like I said, this is how I got it. And if you look show the back to the... See, there's no routing and a cover for the toggle switch.
Oh, for the switch down.
Yeah. So it was like most Explorers, if you take them apart, they're all routed underneath anyhow. I have some pictures of it taken apart, so you can see that. You know, it's like how they just did everything, and having the toggle switch up there with really no protection, and how do you get the stuff in there? You know, it's like the fact that they're all made around the same period, and they're all a bit different. You know, they're handmade, so it's like.
Yes.
Whoa, look at that.
That's what Carina normally looks like right there.
Original strap too.
Original strap.
Original tuners, because these things fell apart. And this is the second one I got. I got this from Larry Briggs in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I traded a bunch of stuff to get it. And this one has been doweled out too.
Okay, so this was the condition that you found
This is
it
the
in?
condition I got it in. It's a patch there, and it had a Bigsby of some sort here. And
Looks like it had a long maestro. It looks like it had maybe a couple of different things on
yeah,
it.
it does.
I think they
And
settled
it's been
back
beat
on
to hell too. So I loved it. This is the one I took out not long ago.
So this stuff still goes out with you.
Yeah, not all the time. But here, take it and play it. It would show the back too.
Oh,
There's the back with the see now it has a
This is where you get the toggle switch cover. It's like there was a heel repair at some point, but who cares?
the real deal.
Another 58, 4549.
There's another one. 84548 too. And if I looked up most of the numbers that I could find,
Man.
you feel how good, just not even plugged in, how good it sounds. And
Yeah. That's amazing.
you need one of those, Mark,
I do.
or two.
Uncle Rick, I need one. So 19 of these got shipped in 58.
That's what we hear.
You have
I don't know
You
the-
have 3 of them.
Okay.
That's like you control.
Having two is unbelievable. Having one is unbelievable.
This one might be my favorite. I like clean guitars, but oh yeah, with the split headstock.
Hello.
Wow,
Look at them next to each other.
that. First off, that's awesome.
This I thought could have been a Max, but everything is right. And he said he didn't do it. These are so rare, who knows where they are.
81957 with the split V headstock. So I know Derringer's.
He had one, but he had a little toggle switch.
So this isn't the Derringer
No,
guitar.
that's not.
So there was 2
Could be.
potentially split V Explorers. Where did this one come from?
I got up in Minnesota. From some guy almost up by Canada.
And what was his story that he gave you with it when you got it?
He wanted to get rid of it,
Yeah.
and I wanted it.
You wanted to buy it. That was the match made in heaven.
Sometimes you don't ask many questions.
And how long have you had this one?
15 years, 20 years.
This is the most recent.
Yeah, the new one. I got it 20 years ago.
Yeah.
All the gold hardware, all the right stuff. You weren't you going to look at some?
Yeah, they all have the. It's just off.
Come on, Mark. Play it. You deserve it.
Oh.
Oh man,
That's
I should just have you
sweet.
take it home with you.
I should. Just buy a plane ticket home and I'll just hold it for a little bit. Oh. So we go from never seeing a Carina Explorer on the show to 3 back to back to back.
Okay.
I think you win right now.
I don't know.
Not that it was a competition.
No, you win. You get
But
to
if
do
it
the show.
was-
You get to play all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, but oh, man. You win, dude. Game, set, and match.
Okay.
How crazy did people think you were back then for spending all your money on guitars? You obviously
Yeah.
had a vision that and saw it coming that nobody else really saw it.
I didn't do it as an investment. I did it because I liked it. That's like if you buy art. If you like it, if it's not worth that, you don't feel so bad.
Well, how much do you still chase it today? You've got all this stuff. Are you looking for specific things that you missed out on? Or are you just looking for whatever cool pops up?
No, I'm not really looking for anything, but then there's also stuff that I've never seen before that all of a sudden, whoa, I never knew that existed. I mean, I had a Firebird, reverse Firebird, but it was a reverse. I mean, you've seen that where the head's like, and I didn't really,
65-ish,
yeah, but I didn't realize that I even had it. And then I got rid of it years ago, and then I look at these pictures. Oh, geez, that was pretty rare.
We got another brown rectangle
Whoa.
case, but I think there's something different in this
Special,
one.
yeah.
I think we need to.
I got this from Jim Gennard,
Double neck.
the owner-president of
Factory black.
of Oakley.
Wait, okay, so forgive me. This is an EMS, electric mandolin Spanish, but then what's the numbers on this? Is this like a 1235? I never understood the numbers.
1235.
Look at that. Okay, EMS 1235 in factory black
Pretty rare. It's a 61
with a Bigsby,
with a Bigsby.
and it's black,
And it's
which
black.
is rad. Okay, let me take this out. Were you a big fan of the double necks? Because there's so many different
I've had a number.
ones of these
I've had
to
a number of
collect.
them. One of the ones I traded for the Paul McCartney left-handed one was a white 12.6.
Yeah, in this, the thick body.
Yeah, the thick body.
The thick body. So what year is this from? This
This
is
is
like
61.
This is a 61. Okay, a 4-digit or 5-digit number. Okay.
Jim Gennard flew to Rockford, Illinois, and gave it to me.
Did you ever have like a 1275, like the SG style version, or did you always go after these 50s ones?
Only the 50s ones. I had one 64, I think it was. It was a 4 bass EDS, I think it was, or BBS, whatever it was. The bass, 4-string bass, and a 6-string guitar.
That's like the Elvis one was like a bass 6.
No, I didn't have a bass 6. I had a bass 4.
Yeah. Still cool though. It's so rad.
Well, because it's a sick, it's an octave. It's like playing a
octave
natural
guitar.
tuning.
Yeah.
Natural tuning.
That's ridiculous. So cool.
It's so sweet and so clean too.
Yeah. That's nice. More brown cases. What could possibly be in here?
By Johnny Thunders.
Oh yeah. TV Junior.
Oh man.
What year is that one?
59 TV Junior.
Yeah, got the beveled edge.
Yep.
You seem, I look at old photos of you, you always seem to have a gaggle of Les Paul Juniors
Yeah, I like them.
around you.
Yeah, I always liked them. They were cool, and it was so cheap originally, And that was that was always part of the criteria for getting things.
Yeah.
I could afford them.
Now, the TVs back then, I mean,
They were kind of
still nobody really cared at that time when you were buying these. What were these, like, what were you paying for Les Paul Juniors when you were
150,
150 bucks?
120, 100, maybe 175 tops.
For really, really clean
yeah,
one or
yeah.
something like that? How many Juniors do you think you've had?
Well, I sent you a list of stuff. Let's say I probably had 50
Yeah.
because they were easy. Juniors were always easy trade. So for getting involved in the trades, like this is too much money. Well, you throw in a couple of these guys, the money sort of adds up on the debtor and the credit side. It's like, so yeah. But I always liked them, and they were always the coolest ones. Like I said, I had a lot of Juniors, but I always liked the yellow TV yellow ones.
Do you prefer double cut over single cut?
Yeah, I prefer the double cut because you can get up higher on the neck, and it reminds me of Johnny Thunders and Keith Richards has had a few, and with Leslie West, he also played some of these occasionally.
Yeah. Some
And
great.
plus, they're good to knock around. They have these the soap bar.
Yeah. And this one's got just enough wear on it to have some fun.
It's a little beat up. Oh, nuts! Exciting. Well, here we go.
All right, soft case.
Soft. Oh no, it's soft, but not just the chipboard case. This is a soft, expensive, not hard
This is
shell.
a step up from what the Croc,
Yeah.
which were basically cardboard cases. This has got a little bit more to it, but not much.
And I got it from George Gruen once again. It's a 61.
Oh, another TV. TV yellow SG special.
Yeah, how about that?
That is cool, and that
pretty
is
darn
rare. And yeah, that's a 61.
Yeah.
That is
And he said to me,
blade neck.
when he said, "Rick, I've got this guitar here." He says, "Museum quality." Well, it sort of is. So this is like off my radar to usually get something this nice, but it's like, yeah,
No.
it was available, so
Wow.
I jumped at it.
So, I mean, I've seen a handful of TV Yellow SGs,
Not many of them.
but not many. And yeah, other than some checking, this guitar is like, yeah, that's museum.
Actually, I've not taken it out on the road.
How long have you had this?
Oh, 15 years.
So you've had a chance.
Yeah.
Is it, have you finally got one that's just too nice to bring out?
Well,
Or-
I've got others, so it's like I'd rather take something with a little more beat rather than take it out. You know, because I play the guitars like I'm gonna play them.
Yeah.
You know, I don't
Baby them.
baby them at
Yeah.
all. Yeah, I've got some pictures of me throwing some guitars. It's like I can't even throw my arm that hard anymore. You know, but
But in terms of one of these, I guess this would be the spec that you want. You don't want the lightning bar. You want the pre-lightning bar on the angle, the smooth heel. It's just all the
the
61
cheap tuners
stuff.
on it.
Yeah, plastic button tuners. Great Brazilian board. That's a cool guitar right there.
Yeah. And the more expensive case, how much?
More
I think it was $10 more.
With the logo in there still.
Yeah.
Even the case is
Yeah,
in
the
great
Gibson
shape.
logo. Yeah, how about that?
Beautiful.
So I did good.
You did great. We finally got a black case here. Big case, different shape. You don't strike me as a big ES guy.
No,
I hardly ever see you with them, but
not
you
not
obviously
often.
have them.
Yeah, they'd always feedback in the wrong way for me. I like feedback, but not the kind where I can't control it, or they sound light.
No.
So, whoa, look at this.
Oh, it's black.
A black 335 dot neck.
Short guard. So what, like a 61?
Uh-huh.
Oh, rad.
Oh.
That's cool. Grovered.
Yeah, Grover with Star. Isn't it?
Oh yeah. Patent pending. Those are old too.
Yeah.
And the cream, were the cream rings on it when you got it?
Yes, it was. Yes, they were.
So this is a condition you found it in. Where did this thing come from?
I got that in Texas. Jeez, what year was that? Have been 79,
Yeah.
79, somewhere around then.
I've only seen 2, I think, black dot
See, I
necks.
saw the one that Chicago Music had, or CME, or Reverb. I'm not sure. I saw it because I saw the log for it too.
Yeah.
You have that?
The ledger
Yeah.
thing for it. Yeah, but the only problem is a lot of them, the 2 that I've seen were both 59s, which I still haven't found that ledger yet. Still waiting for someone to return that. 61, that would be on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a live guitar for you?
No, I I haven't mastered how to. I haven't worked at it actually to get it to sound right.
No.
I like core stuff. If I can get the feedback I want to have, I can get it right away. If I don't have to work on it, because
No.
like I haven't tuned a guitar in 40 years. That's enough.
You're going to start working now?
Yeah.
Come on. But that's a cool guitar. Awesome.
Ah!
Oh, I've seen this guitar in a lot of pictures.
This is one of the guitars I always played when I did the stack them one on top of another, and you can see how it's fared.
Does that say KY Jelly on the truss rod cover?
Oh no, it does.
Okay. What's going on
Well,
here?
this is
What
my-
did this start as?
It started as a single cutaway, 57 or 56 Junior.
Yeah.
And it was beat to crap, and it was no good, and the pickup was wrong. So I decided I took a PAF, a Zebra one, as a matter of fact, and I wanted Gibson to. I approached, but I had no clout. It was like 75 or 76. You know, they wouldn't talk to me then. They talked to me later, but they didn't talk to me then. Or, you know, who would take this guy seriously? You know, I think that's probably what happened. But I wanted to have a guitar that had one pickup, but have a humbucking as opposed to a P90.
Yeah.
Volume tone, that's it. And then make one in red, make one in black, or make one in whatever color. And I made had the red one made for me. You know, put the PAF in there. And I put something on inlay on the neck.
Okay, you know you like it.
You know you like it. That was from one of the earlier porno movies. It was called Mona. You know, I think it was Teenage Nympho Mona, something like that. I don't know exactly. It impressed me enough where Mona. You know, you like it. I just thought that was like a dirty old man or a dirty young man, something that would never impress anybody except in the movie.
And they did it on the existing board because you can see all the dot inlays.
Oh yeah,
just got filled
got
in.
Annihilated.
And Rick Nielsen
I
model.
put Rick Nielsen on because the Les Paul had been scratched off, and so I didn't have a silk screen Les Paul model to put on there, and since it was a Rick Nielsen model, because I did it. This was like Hamer did this for me back '75 or something like that when they were nobody.
Yeah.
And I was nobody, and I'm still nobody, but, brand new finish when I got it. And then this is from rubbing on top of a Hamer guitar or a Fender Strat, and the neck's all chewed up.
Yeah.
But it always played.
Any particular significance behind the KY Jelly truss rod cover?
I thought it was Kentucky Jelly.
So a misunderstanding.
Yeah, I goof up these things. I'm dyslexic in one of my eyes.
This is so cool. It looks like it had 2 other knobs on it at some point.
It could have been, a special, when I got it, it was so beaten and wrong that it was like, look at these knobs, those big-ass knobs.
Yeah. Actually, I'm seeing those 2 there. I'm seeing what looks like it could have been a toggle switch. This could have been a special.
It was a junker when I got it, so.
Well.
But it was a junker that's, the soul of it, the inner frame of the thing was perfect, because it had a great neck on it. And look, it's still play, it's a good neck. I wouldn't go to all this work on something that didn't play.
We got a newer ES case here.
Really?
New-ish.
Wrong case, though. Oh, look at this.
A B.B. King Lucille.
Signed 3 times.
BB's signature on it 3 times.
And then it was actually, this guitar was given to me by David Wells, the baseball pitcher.
Yeah.
Because I was friends of his. And he's a Hall of Fame kind of guy and perfect games. And he was a collector too. He collects guitars, but he bought Babe Ruth's collection, his jacket. And so he gave this to me because I was a guitar collector. And he said, Rick, I want you to have this. Oh, thank you. And then I saw B.B. King another time. And then I said, B.B., would you sign it again? Sure. Then the third time, I got him to sign it on the last tour right before he died.
So you had him sign it 3 times on 3 different occasions.
3 different occasions.
How close were you with B.B.? Did you guys...
He knew me.
Yeah.
I didn't impress him, I don't think, but he spoke with me. And, it's just cool. You say I don't play a 335 or whatever this is, what model. I don't really play this either, but it's like, having B.B. King, one of the greats of all time. Here.
It's pretty cool.
Get this vibe there.
Did B.B. play this at all?
Yes, of course.
So cool.
Yeah.
Tell me a little more about just checkerboard in general. Where did your obsession with checkerboard come from? I see. Committed.
There you go. I used to watch when I was a kid. It was black and white TV, and there was only 3 stations. And at 10 o'clock on Sunday, they would go off. They'd play the national anthem, and then there'd be they have an Indian head on there. And then about half an hour later, and they call it bug races. And it was black, it was white. Black, white, black, white. That's what the whole screen was. And I just kind of liked that black, white. I didn't come up with the idea of a checkerboard. So I just liked it. It was a universal statement, but it's without making something obtuse and obscure. And it just caught my eye, and it still does.
Oh, sick!
Look at this.
Oh.
This is a Flying V with a Flying V head. And this is a prototype.
Oh, it goes all over.
There you go.
So, you were talking about how they did the Hamers with 3M tape. Do you know how?
No, I have no idea how they did this one. I don't think they used the tape. I think this is. I have no idea. Gibson made it, got it to me. I love it.
Even the checkerboard on the pickups.
It's the way to do it.
Chevron and Rick Nielsen V Proto #1. Pretty cool. Has this been out or
no?
This
well,
one?
Has it been out? Has it probably been played a couple times?
Yeah.
But actually, the Explorer, the one I have, I take it on the road, and the other one is going to be. I'm giving it to the Hard Rock Rockford Casino, and it's also being replicated on that 70 or 110 foot. Yeah.
Guitar outside.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, it's got my checkerboard. It's got my got the kind of guitars that I like to play, and here it is.
That's so cool.
You need one of those too.
You're right. Something different?
Yeah, inspired by Gibson, but made by Hamer.
No.
These guys used to have a store called Northern Prairie Music in Evanston, Illinois. They were doing stuff that Gibson ceased to be doing, experimenting with some stuff, and they made this, not specifically just for me, but they made it, and here was the prototype, and they brought it to the show, and as to show me what they were going to plan on doing, and I said I wouldn't give it back to them. I said, this is what I've been looking for, and they handmade it, and here it is. This one is number 00000.
Oh yeah.
Oh, look, doesn't that look like an Explorer?
It does.
They were called Hamer Standards. But it's got like a Les Paul curly maple top, PAF.
These are original
Yeah.
PAFs in there?
Yeah. One may have been taken out and put something else put in. But originally it did have it. And these knobs are straight down as opposed to going at the angle. And the truss rod cover, or the toggle switch, is screwed into the top because there's no routing on the back for it. And all the wiring and everything, unlike the Gibson Explorer, is underneath the curly maple top put on it. And ABR1 bridge, and Hamer, it says JSK on the truss rod for John S. Kennedy. I had that JSK, so I put it on there. I thought it looked cool. And it had Grovers on it. And this was the first Hamer. I wouldn't give it back, and so this started my career with that.
And this guitar is probably logged more.
Yeah,
road
this was
miles
on the
than
that cover in '78 or '9 on the Guitar Player. This was the bottom one, I think. Here, play it.
I got to play this when we were hanging out in Nashville a few months ago through your rig.
Yeah.
And it was...
it plays great.
cool.
I had Joe Bonamassa play it. He never sounded better. He should have taken it with him.
0000.
Uh-huh.
Pretty sweet. Couple little headstock things over the years, but...
Yeah. I know
stuff.
baby this stuff.
You use this stuff. Now, these guys have built how many guitars for you?
Tons of them.
A lot of your really wacky, cool stuff was built by these guys.
Yeah, I built the checkerboard, very first one of those. Coffee table books that they made for me. Uncle Dick, which has two legs and with a Cheap Trick inlay on it and stuff. It's just weird stuff that I would ask for. Based off of what I had done with this, being the bottom guitar on a stack of guitars, actually the You Know You Like It, and a Fender Stratocaster, left-handed Stratocaster with right-handed neck, or I don't know, one of those things, and this thing. And so then I decided maybe I should have a multiple neck guitar.
What the hell were you thinking on the 5-neck guitar? Tell me how that came about. I've seen pictures of you with like a Strat and a Les Paul and like 3 guitars on it.
That's where that kind of started. I was like, I do a solo. I'm not gifted enough like all the tech guys. Everybody's better than everybody else. And then if you go to Nashville, everybody's better than everybody else too. I care about the song more than I care about me mouthing and playing a solo. For the 5-neck, I originally wanted to have a 6 necks because I had, like I said, I was stacking it as a guitar. So I wanted to have 6 and have it spin like a roulette. Then Billy Gibbons and Dusty came out with the spinning guitars. I thought, they're going to think that I copied them. I said, let's make something realistic, a 5-neck. So there you go. If you're going to be ridiculous, be ridiculous.
Go all the way.
Yeah. Excuse me, sir.
Oh yeah, it weighs
More.
more than I expected.
This one,
I don't even know how
This is the third one that I had built.
Okay, so there's 3 of these. They're all different, right? They
Yeah.
all have different configurations.
Yeah.
What do we have going on this one?
Well, the very first one is an orange one. It has 12-string, 6-string with vibrato, another 6-string with sort of like a Fender sound, and like here, this is a junior, sort of like a Les Paul Junior with a T-bar pickup in here, and this one also has a mandocello. So this has 38 strings. The others have a mere 36.
Wait, so okay, this one is a semi-hollow.
Made out of Carina
First off,
wood.
this is Carina with the semi-hollow 12,
6-string.
Tune-o-matic, Les Paul style, one with, what is it, P90?
P99.
P90, yeah, with the Bigsby, a freaking electric mandocello, and a Les Paul Jr. And then, okay, how the hell does it work? You have 4 knobs here. There's 5 guitars and 4 knobs, and then you have one
I have
chicken
no
head knob.
idea. There's a 6-way switch here.
6-way
Top
switch.
neck, next neck, next neck, next neck, next neck.
What's the 6th one do?
No, did I say a 6-way switch?
Yeah.
Well, I was wrong.
Oh, shit. Okay.
1,
Okay,
2,
so
3,
that makes
4,
sense.
5.
That selects which guitar
I
you're
can't
on.
count that well.
And then 5 necks, but 4 knobs.
Yeah.
I'm assuming this is like a master volume for the whole
Master for the whole thing.
thing. And then what do those do?
None of your business. Figure it out yourself. I have no idea. No, I'm sure it's tone and volume because each one is separate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's 3 of these. There's the orange one was first,
Orange one was the first one.
and that is currently at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Either
right?
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or the Grammy Museum.
There's the checkerboard one.
The checkerboard was the second one. That's the one I take on the road.
That one is still out
Still out.
with the rigs.
Yeah.
And then if you just need the mandocello,
this is the B rig.
This is the B-rig one.
Yeah.
Now, how the hell do you carry this? Because you got vaults full of guitars that just go into the truck and go.
It has its own case, and it's like I used to be taller, but by wearing this 5-neck, it's just I've shrunk, and not all the right places either.
This, oh my God.
It's heavy.
Now, some of the other ones have fretless
Yeah, the
necks
first one has a fretless neck
on the bottom.
on the bottom.
And how do you even play it down that?
I have long arms.
Yeah, you'd have to.
No, I had to have them installed.
Oh, okay. Ouch. That's no joke.
This is a good learning tool for other guitarists. Don't do this.
You're crazy. Oh, and by the way, all banjo
Oh,
tuners.
banjo tuning pegs.
Because why not have everything have 1-to-1 ratio?
Oh yeah, make it
Tuning.
extra difficult. See, like I said, I haven't tuned a guitar in 40 years. So it's like
That's
Not my
somebody else's problem. Sick.
it's not a Gibson though.
It's not a Gibson, but
Ah,
let's see.
oh,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
1951 Telecaster. I had the neck off. I thought it was a 52, but it's a 51. I think it was October 11th, 51 T.
My birthday,
Really?
October 11th. That's rad. You should give me
I should
one,
just
too.
give it to you.
Now tell me why you got this kind of butterscotchy blonde on the back, and then it's, I mean, you can kind of still see the butterscotch here. Is that just fade?
This is how I got it. It's more beat than when I got it. And plus there's a crack up on the head. But this is the one that Robin played on Live at Budokan record.
This is the
So this
Budokan
is on the
guitar.
cover of it, or in the pictures. And
Wow.
number 1780, I think.
How often, flat pole piece. I mean, how often do you reach for single coil guitars these
He
days.
does all the time.
I know Robin's always kind of got the telly going
Well,
on.
I've got the Jeff Beck model that I use. Same one, the beat up.
The Esquire.
Yeah. And actually, I went to Jeff Beck's house last year, or the year before. I don't even know what year it is anymore. With the pandemic, I went to get invited to his house, and went there and took him to dinner and told awful stories together.
No.
You know, plus I'd been with him in Japan too. I loaned him his guitar, his model, to him because he only brought one guitar to the show. Was Jeff Beck, Jimmy Page, and we were on the show in Tokyo.
It's a good bill.
Yeah, yeah. But I had to. He said to me, "Oh, history repeats itself," because I gave him a guitar, like in 1968. So we stayed very close.
No. This is incredibly lightweight too.
Yeah.
It's well seasoned. Get a Fender back in my collection again.
Finally.
Great neck. I want to talk for a second about tell me about how you came to work with John Lennon.
Yeah, let's see. We had done our first record with Jack Douglas. He produced Aerosmith and a lot of stuff. He was big shot, big name. He came and saw us, liked us so much he called Epic Records and said, if you don't sign these guys, I'm going to take them to Mercury the next day. So he says, I'll produce them. You know, with using his name, it helped us get a deal in one day. This is after years of nobody wanting us for no days. We'd done some other work with him. We'd worked with George Martin in the meantime too. But John was doing a comeback record. And he had all these session guys, Earl Slick and other people making the record with him, with Yoko. And about halfway through, I guess, doing a session, it wasn't called Double Fantasy at the time, but Jack thought that John should have a bit of a heavier sound. And he recruited Bunny, Carlos, and then they recruited me. So we came into the studio, got invited to the studio at the Hit Factory in I think it was the Hit Factory in New York, and got to play a couple songs with John Lennon. I was getting set up, and John walked in. It's you! It's you! And my joke is, he thought it was going to be Ricky Nelson, but it was me. And he said, "Oh, it's you." He heard about Cheap Trick, but I don't think he knew too much about us or whatever. And I started to talk to him about guitars.
Tell me about the guitar. I mean, you gave him the guitar.
I gave him a guitar at the end. It was a Fender. It had a B-bender on it. And they were rare. I mean, mine is number 121, I think, so it's like a fairly early one. He said he'd never seen one. I said, well, I'm leaving for Japan. Here, you keep it, and pick it up later. He'd never seen a string bender. He liked what I did on it. And 3 years after he was murdered, I got a case. Yoko sent it back to me. He says, "John, I think John would like you to have this." I didn't give it to him. I loaned it to him. But, I wasn't about, hey, where's my guitar? I'm not like that kind of guy. So it's like, I luckily got it back and I have it. All right.
I know this has some
Double Fantasy. Well, actually, I played it. I used it before I did the session with John Lennon. I used this on the All Shook Up album, a song called Baby Loves the Rock. And I did the solo with it because I liked the string bender. I'd never, it was kind of the early string benders to me because I never, I didn't play any country music. So it was like, but I liked it and I used it, and I'll show you what I did. Oh, it's a beat up. It's a Telecaster, but for some reason, I think when they did all the routing for the Parsons White string bender, this is number 131. I think I said 121 earlier. So I gave it to John Lennon, and I'll show you what I did. Here, I can't do all this stuff at once. You lift that up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did I used it on the one lick on one record because you couldn't do that lick the way I did it unless you had a string bender. But I liked it, and I gave it to John, and because he said he never seen one, and never had. I was in tune when I bought it, but
So you got this guitar back when?
3 years after he died.
3 years.
He was
old.
murdered, yeah, from Yoko.
How cool was it for you to work with the Beatle? I mean, it had to have been a pretty big influence.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan before, I played in a rock band. No, I'm a fan first. Remember, I played drums. So I was influenced by all those guys. And, working with an opportunity. I mean, think of all the people that didn't work with, all the musicians that are, way more rehearsed and technique-wise that would jump at the chance, but they asked me because they thought I had the right feel.
What was he like to work with in the studio?
He was great to me.
Yeah. Was it a collaborative kind of process, or did he have in his mind what he wanted going in?
Oh yeah, he knew what he wanted.
For people who've never seen this case, what is this case called?
It's called a Bullwind case
Bullwind case.
by Fender.
And Fender usually did these with export model guitars that went overseas, and usually something cool and rare.
Well, this is cool and rare, I think. There's only 2 of these that I've heard were made. One was for me, and one for that guy from Led Zeppelin, Jimmy Page.
Jimmy Page? What is that? Whoa! What is that?
It's a guitar. Telecaster, and look who's on the
With the Beatles?
The
on
Beatles
it?
are on it.
And it's gold sparkle. Over, it's almost like a paisley.
Like the paisley.
It's got the
got something underneath.
and then they sprayed on, and it's got the Beatles on it. Where did you find this?
I love Canada. Didn't I tell you that?
This is another
I got it in
Canada find?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's just cool. When I heard that Jimmy Page was going to have a guitar come out, it's like looking forward to it. It's like, I'm glad it wasn't this one.
That would have really confused people.
That polka dot one or whatever you had. I wasn't really impressed with it, but just the fact that a couple one-offs were done. You don't know how. There's stuff that I see all the time, or not all the time, but occasionally, stuff I never knew about, never heard about, never knew existed. Isn't that kind of fun? That's why you probably do some of the stuff.
Never seen anything like this before. And this is what, probably F-Play, this is like a 66 or 67 CBS era?
Something like that. Still early enough where, pre-Led Zeppelin and all that kind of stuff.
That's so cool. Wow.
Well, look.
Oh, love these.
I think it's a 58 or 59
slab body Epiphone cornet.
Epiphone cornet.
With the bikini badge on the headstock.
They're heavy little guitars. They're sort of like a Telecaster.
With the cutaway on both sides. But I mean, this is the first solid body Epiphone made by Gibson.
Yeah. And check out, I love
the knobs are so cool.
The knobs and the position is like a guitar string
ball end
shoved in there.
Yeah. And then this is not a mini humbucker. That's the New York pickup, which was on a lot of the Epiphone jazz guitars. I don't particularly like how these sound.
This is how it got it, remember?
But yeah, that's what's supposed to be in there.
Normally, I would carve it up and put
a dog ear P90 in there or something, or that would look great with the Zebra PAF.
I'm not going to start adulterating these guitars.
But yeah, bikini.
Adultery is tough enough.
Bikini plaque headstock. I love the truss rod cover. It's just so primitive Epiphone.
Yeah, it sure is.
And I just don't know if people really
don't
get
appreciate
how cool.
It's like
how cool.
I'm glad they don't, because it keeps the price down.
Yeah. But how cool these guitars are, man! And that thing got played and possibly stolen at some point.
I hope so.
There's some scratches up there, but man, so good.
They're just great little rock and roll guitars. The perfect. If you're good enough, it's the perfect guitar to play lead. If you're not good enough, it's the perfect guitar to play rhythm. If you're not good at that, play drums.
Yeah, do something else. Play bass.
This is a 1963 Guild Merle Travis. One, I thought it was one of 3, but there's actually 4.
Oh, wow.
This is the second one ever made. This one was...
It's just got everything on it.
Maximum ornamentation.
It's such a Nashville guitar.
Yeah. It's curly maple pickup. It's been routed out to put the pickup inside it.
What is the pickup? Is it like a P90 or is that
It's like a P90, but I think but this is a DeArmond, I think.
Look at all.
This is the coolest inlays and the coolest. This is a
armrest.
Armrest.
That truss rod cover is
bad.
Yeah.
Grover Imperials.
Love the Imperials.
$2,000 in 1963.
That's a lot of money.
It was, and so there, he obviously didn't sell many of them, but when I got it from George Gruen again, and it was in pieces. The headstock had been thrown in a fireplace. It was broken. It had like the Everly Brothers, the Everly Brothers kind of those pick guards that went on the top of the body, wrecking the finish.
Yeah.
The neck was broken off it. It was a piece of junk, but
who put it all back together?
Some of the guys from Guild.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the only one that has these kind of chevrons on the neck. Most of them had the stars like on the Everly Brothers
would have, yeah.
But the headstock alone, I mean, it's like I'd just like to have that made into a pillow or something. It's comfortable.
That's so cool. Well, if you're gonna have an arch top
with the original gold, I tell them don't re-gold this thing, because I like the way the old gold looks. And they remade some of these pieces, but I actually have the original truss rod cover, and I think this is the remade one, but they made it to exact specs. And it's just one of the coolest guitars ever. People take for granted this guard.
Oh, no. That is individual layers of binding that were all glued around to make all of this. That's not like painted on there or printed on.
Yeah, it's not a $5.95 guard.
Yeah, that is.
These are
that took
a lot of
days and days and days and hours just to make that.
Plus
one
a curly
piece.
maple pickup cover. Routed out underneath, and it's just a solid piece of wood, and they route it out and put the pickup in it, rather than a plastic cover or a dog ear or whatever. It's just cool, I don't have that many acoustics or acoustic electrics. Play it, strum it, just when you're Mark, come on. Okay, that's enough.
It works.
What a day!
What a day. Rick, I want to thank you so much for letting us in your house. I feel like
You've been here a long time.
I know. I feel like we barely nicked this. We didn't even dent the surface of your collection.
You were correct.
But we saw some pretty epic stuff.
I don't want to do it any longer right now, but anytime you want to do it, I'd be happy.
The only thing we can do now,
rock and vodka.
Start drinking heavily. Some rock and vodka. Thank you again for having us. I'm Mark Agnesi for Gibson TV. It's Rick Nielsen. We'll see you guys next time on another episode of The Collection. Peace.